right, everybody. Welcome to some sales training. It's 2 minutes past, so I thought we'd start. Obviously, the presentation will be available afterwards, and I've also got some other tools that I'd like to give you. Please, at the end, they've asked me to ask you to give feedback. Obviously, the feedback's quite important, but yeah, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcoming everybody. I am going to be doing what I've decided to do today is on motivation and eliminating self-doubt. If you want to interrupt me during the presentation, absolutely. If you want to hold on till afterwards, that's fine too. But I don't mind stopping and discussing, because I think every time you ask questions, you're actually helping everybody else. So this will probably be about 30 minutes. And then I thought we could just open it up at the end and just brainstorm, because me just spreading this out might not be helping you specifically for your needs. So I'll begin by telling you who I am. So my name's David Marshall, 53 years old. I've been 54 years old, I apologize. I've been doing sales for about 30 years. I've come from a public relations background, writing articles, and then I got into sales and telesales and what I call sniper marketing. As I've said, presentation's 14 slides long, but interrupt me at any time. It can take 10 minutes or it can take half an hour, I don't mind. What I hope you're going to get out of this is some fresh ideas, some ways that you will be your confidence will be boosted, because what I realize is a lot of people struggle to break that glass and say, hey, can I have, will you give? And I'm going to go through a few techniques that I've used over the years, that wisdom from the internet and from other people. So my first piece of advice is, whatever you do, I don't even care if you're a dentist, an engineer, or a salesperson, decide to be great. And what that will do, it'll give you a motivation and determination that will benefit you down the line. You know, a lot of you, when people say, oh, I've got to go to work, what a horrible thing to do. I'm that guy. I used to, but imagine if you could just go, you know what? I'm going to be the best, and for this case, salesperson in the company. And now you're actually competing against yourself. How do you be great? By constantly learning. And there's so many ways to do it nowadays, with podcasts, with books, with events like this. But decide to be present. So if you're going to spend half an hour with me now, try to make good use of that half hour. Even if you don't become great, being pretty good at something is pretty great. Let's get rid of that. So for today, we're going to decide to be great and in sales. The second piece of advice I've got here is, whatever you're selling, understand it as in-depth as possible. And what I mean by this one is, if you're selling cell phones, go and learn the history of cell phones. Go and learn the history of telephones. Go and learn how cell phones work and what frequency. And even if you don't ever need that information, just the knowledge that you've got it will give you an unseen confidence. And if you're in a networking event and people are talking and you can contribute to the conversation, that's what's going to help you with sales. Use Google Alerts to stay on top of your industry. So let's imagine you're in swimming pool repairs. You go to understand how Google Alerts work and go see what your competitors are doing and add your competitor's name into Google Alerts. And you will be alerted every time your competitor does something, and you will be on top of your industry. You don't have to go do the research. It'll come find you. So for today, think about your business, your products, your services, where you may be a bit short and lacking, and then go, I'm going to spend the next 30 days, 90 days, becoming an expert. Here's one: set monthly goals that allow you to focus on what you want to achieve. This is in life and in work. Okay, so I think annual goals are too long. Monthly goals are great. If you've got a monthly goal that you want to lose 1 kilogram, that's what you want to work on. If you've got a monthly goal that you want to increase sales by 10%, that's what you want to do. And so focus on that month. The Japanese use a word called Kaizen, and that's the philosophy of continuous improvement. So in other words, you don't leave here becoming an expert salesperson. You just want to be 1% better tomorrow, 10% better by the end of the month, another 10% the following month. And if you can do that every month for 12 months, the way to becoming an expert is quite simple. So if you're in sales, or even if you own a business, but sales is an important part of your business, perfect the art of prospecting. In other words, know who the person is that you want to target, work out where they are, and study that. Work out the art of pitching. And with YouTube, there are thousands of videos on how to write scripts and pitch and things like that. Work on the art of listening. When I start a sales meeting, I normally start off by just giving a 30-second elevator pitch of what we do. And then I go straight to the client and say, tell me about your problems, tell me your needs, what is it you want? And that's what we're doing. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I've turned it to silent, but as I've said, there are a lot of podcasts out there, lots of YouTube content. There's tons. Udemy is a great one. If you want to do sales courses, JavaScript courses, any kind of courses, go to Udemy, and they're very cheap. Set small goals. If you've got a big goal to double your revenue, you start off by setting small goals. In other words, in order to double my revenue, what milestones do I need to hit? So if you could focus on those smaller goals, you might find hitting your bigger goals a lot easier. Clearly define what you want to do. And that goes back to this. So here's an example of my business. For those who don't know, I run a outsourced website live chat business that's got real humans, not chatbots. It's 24 hours a day. And I'm targeting businesses that have websites and drive traffic to that business. So I wrote a little goal. Chat Marshall Live Chat, an outsourced live chat company, would like to set up meetings with who I want to set the meetings up, with who, and people who need increased sales, leads, or web engagements. And what will I do at this meeting? I'll present our solution, and I'll give demonstration and on how it can help them. So I've actually got one for you, a little template. And remember, you can either do a screen grab of this, or you will get the PowerPoint, but just use this. And if you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 salespeople, you can hand them this document. So it's very clear to your salespeople what you want them to achieve. And so this is just a simple opening template. Very important. This is not a sales script, what I've given you there. It's just something to help you understand and stay focused, because people tend to lose focus. Stay focused on the outcome. Sales can be incredibly stressful. So I have a few tips. One, you keep a notepad. I use one of these little books. And every morning I will write down 3, 4, 5 things I want to achieve for the day. And it could be going to the licensing department. It could be to download a PDF. It could be to make 30 calls. Whatever it is, you write it down. I also don't like to make too many tasks for the day, because it can be a bit overwhelming. And then every time I complete a task, I run a line through it. And there's something psychological about looking at the page at the end of the day and seeing the tasks completed. Good night's sleep. And I think I don't need to explain this, but when you haven't had enough sleep, everything becomes a problem. You make the wrong decisions. So whatever you do in life, get a good night's sleep. Here's another thing that I think you can do to become efficient. what you might find that your to-do list is getting longer and longer because you didn't do yesterday's and you didn't do before. Create a headline, I call it the four. So do it, delegate it, defer it, or dump it. So do it, obviously, this is important, do it yourself. Delegate it. Okay, do I need to do this? It's important, but can somebody else do it? Defer it, not that important, but it'll be nice for next month. And dump it. This is a waste of time. Get rid of it. So be quite strong on what you want to achieve. I use, if I'm driving and I get an idea or something I need to do, you can send yourself a message now in WhatsApp, or you can just do a recording on your smartphone, and you can say, okay, Google or Siri, and it'll take it, you can dictate to it. Focus, focus, focus. Again, this goes back to goal setting. So with my team and my sales staff, we'll set that goal, and then you got to get focused on it. Don't get sidetracked. So let's imagine if you're in sales and you've got an idea for a new product advancement. If that's not your job, you hand that over to the person whose job it is and get back to your focus. And this is a thing that a lot of salespeople do because it breaks the monotony of calling and calling and calling, because sales is hard. So I always say, focus on what you're doing. Okay, here's another one. Salespeople, and yourself included, might, if you get an objection like, oh, we just don't need it, or the price is too high. If you get that kind of objection twice or three times, that's really not an objection. You need to be phoning thousands of people. And so what people tend to do, they throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, oh, I've got these objections. No, if you were getting 30% of the people going, oh, no, it's too expensive, then it might be something you need to look into. But if it just get one or two, don't get distracted. Here's another thing. You know, these fake it till you make it, that's within reason. So don't lie about your products or services. This will come back and bite you. If you're shy and reserved, you can write your scripts around being shy. So I have a salesperson who sometimes it goes against every book. They'll start with a pitch, you know, hi, I'm calling from live chat, and then they'll say something like, I don't suppose you haven't looked at live chat, have you? Or does that even seem like something you're interested in? So she's not being aggressive. She's actually giving them a reason to step out. If that's your nature, write your scripts around how you are. If you've got a product that you think will really benefit the person, then you can write in the script, listen, I'm calling you because I believe that what we've got can help you. Now, if they've already got something in there that's, they've got an incumbent product or service in place, you might want to go, I'd like to benchmark against your current solution. So you've got to come up with scripts that fit with you. Don't just go like to Google or to ChatGPT, have it write a script and then go with that script. Change the word, make yourself more comfortable. Preparation couldn't be more important. So if I'm going to call 30 people, let's just say I decide I want to call 30 people just for today or for the week. Before I make the call, I go to their website, I go to their LinkedIn, I put myself in their position. I think about them and I go, okay, how can I solve these 30 people's problems? And if it's a car dealer, it might be a different problem to a hotel. So I feel that preparing for just a cold call or even a cold meeting, even if you're face-to-face, just go in prepared. When you're in telesales or phoning, you can also visualize how you think the meeting is going to go. And what this allows you to do is be prepared for their objections. In fact, if you're getting objections, that's great. That means you've got through to them. Now, I'm not talking about those business to consumer where you get phoned in about insurance that you don't need, or it's the 30th insurance call you've had. I'm talking, this is more B2B, where you're actually offering them a service. Know all the objections. In other training I've done, I always go, write your script, but then spend more time, write down a list of every single objection you think you can get, and then write the countermeasure. So if somebody goes, oh, it's too expensive, your answer might be, well, actually, we have more features, or actually, we're not more expensive, but whatever your countermeasures are, have them prepared so that there's zero objection you can't handle. And that'll give you the confidence. Psychologically, you'll feel more confident when making these calls. This is from my PR days, testimonials and case studies, or social proof, they call it. So I've been in business a while. I have lots of testimonials and case studies that if I'm phoning a car dealer, I don't even try to sell them all the time on the phone. I go, look, I can hear you're a bit unsure. Can I send you an email with a video testimonial or a case study or whatever my pitch is? And then I'll give you a call again tomorrow. Now, it might say, well, you've got him on the phone. Why are you giving him a call tomorrow? You've got to pick that up. And remember, a lot of the times you might have to make 5 to 7 to 10 calls to build that trust before they are going to do a trial even. You know, most people, very few people just get a sale on the first call. Whatever this could be. Right. If you're one of those people that set yourself a day or an afternoon, let's imagine you're doing cold calling from 9 until 1. I'm a fan of getting up and taking walks. And there's a whole bunch of scientific studies of why exercise helps with mood and psychology. And I'm not talking exercise where you're sweating, not that kind of exercise. And just, like I say, a 10-minute walk really can help you. And while you're walking, there's some, and again, you can do your own research, there's some science behind the pace of your arms and your legs that help your brain solve problems. There was one article I've put here in from the New Yorker. You can, as again, look into it afterwards. The 4 agreements. Okay, so this goes back to being, this is now sales and goes back to integrity. Very simply, be impeccable with your word. So let's imagine you've got a deal and you promised to deliver by Friday. Deliver by Friday, because those sales become repeat customers. Or if somebody says, please send me a proposal, and you say, yes, I'll send you a proposal now, then do it now. If you feel that you can't do it now, then you go, listen, I'll do it tonight when I get home or tomorrow morning, but be impeccable with your word. And then don't take anything personally. People are going to be in a bad mood when you're talking to them. They're going to swear at you. That's life. Always do your best. I think these are quite simple and straightforward. So you can look up the 4 agreements. It's in Wikipedia. There's books on the 4 agreements. And this just makes you a better human and salesperson. This is it's not a sales technique, but I love this for everything. So, and this is something we can workshop afterwards. So let's imagine you've got a problem, and your problem is your business isn't breaking even. You haven't got enough sales. You haven't got enough profit margin. Whatever so you're welcome to sit with your pen and paper now and write down a problem. But don't just write down, let's use, I haven't got enough sales. So you write down, haven't got enough sales, and define it. What does sales mean to you? How many sales is not enough? How many sales is enough? And you spend time writing down and defining that problem. The second thing is you might want to brainstorm with other staff members, friends of yours who are in sales, maybe experts in the field, and you go, share this problem with them and go, would you mind just brainstorming this problem with me? Look at it from different angles, from the client's angle, from the lapsed client's angle, from your staff's angle. Look at it from different perspectives and see why aren't you getting enough sales? So it might be, and this is where you use the solution. Solution 1, need to make more calls. Solution 2, need to hire salespeople. Solution 3, need to make my product more expensive or cheaper. Need to add more features. Need to get rid of features. So you brainstorm all of these solutions. Not one, and no matter how crazy the solutions are, partner with another company, do a joint venture. There's a million solutions to this. Once you've written out all these solutions, choose one or two of those solutions. And here's the important part, set a deadline. So let's imagine your solution is to hire more salespeople and increase your price. And if that's your solution, then go, right, well, increase my price. I can do that tomorrow. Hire more salespeople. Well, it's now August. I want them to start on 1 September. And take action. Hold yourself accountable. So once you've found your solution, take action. Solve these problems. You can even use this, as I've said, yeah, in your relationships. You might have a problem with a staff member. You might have a problem with the water supply to your work. Anything like that. Solve those problems, but break them down. Never waste a phone call. Okay, so now I'm going to fly through a few others. I won't go into detail, but we can talk about them afterwards. What I mean by never waste a phone call. If I'm calling somebody about my live chat business and they say, no, not interested, I have a line that goes, I understand you're not interested. Well, let's just say I've done the pitch. I've sent them the pricing. I've done the proposals. They understand what we do. I've handled all objections. And I call them back a week later and they go, no, not for me. My line simply goes, you know, I really thought this was a good solution. Can I ask for my own research purposes? Why is it not for you? And they might say, well, we don't get enough traffic to our website, which is actually a very good answer. Or if they say, we don't have the budget, I have a countermeasure for that. Well, I say, well, I'll guarantee you that the cost of our service will pay for itself in the amount of increased sales. So budget shouldn't be a problem because we also only bill in arrears. So I have my objection handling, but I want to know, maybe they're not the decision maker. Maybe they are closing down. I want that data. To me, that phone call isn't just about pitching. It's also about business intelligence. So never waste a phone call when you get hold of a person. Beat the slump with 5-minute goals. Okay, so happens all the time. You're just not motivated. And maybe okay, in my game, let's just say, okay, let's see if I can call 10 people in 5 minutes. Or let's see if I can build a database from LinkedIn of 20 people, and let me see if I can do it in 5 minutes. So you can set yourself these little mini goals as well, just to break you out of the slump, because cold calling is hard work. There's no, anybody who tells you it isn't, they've got a gift from God, but they're mad. Here's one called the 5-second rule. It's also a book. And the 5-second rule is making that first phone call. So let's imagine I need to pick up the phone and make that first phone call. The 5-second rule says you count down from 5 as if you're a spaceship. And you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you pick up the handset. And the simple act of picking up that handset gets you going. So these are about motivation and discipline. Personal objectives and key results. Okay, so this is something, if you're working for somebody, you might want to set up your own KPIs or OKRs, whatever people call them. And this is, I need to make 100 calls this week. And now you've set yourself a personal one. And what are the results of those 100 calls? Well, I need 10 appointments from those 100 calls. So you set yourself these ones, and you'll see why it goes into why you're doing this down the line. It's to be undeniable. And what I mean by that is, let's imagine you're employed or you've got partners and you have to report to your partners. How can you be undeniable? How can they ever accuse you of not being good enough or not doing your job or not doing your work? It's with these personal OKRs where you can actually document and show that I have spoken or I've done demos to 1,000 people. And of those 1,000 people, we only got 5 sales. Well, then we need to relook at our business model. But if you're working for people, be undeniable. And what I mean by that is so that nobody can discredit you. Financially invest in yourself. This one I think is also common knowledge. You know, everybody always talks about you should be, especially in your 20s, put 5% of your salary into an RA and all that kind of stuff. And I actually go, well, if I was in my 20s again, I would put that money into myself. I wouldn't actually invest in an RA. And there's a whole discussion about this, but I would become an expert in my field, because that in 10 years' time is going to affect your income, whether it be a salary or if you own a business, your turnover. If you became the most knowledgeable person on sunglasses and you became a brilliant Excel spreadsheet writer, and you became an excellent PowerPoint presentation person, and you invested that by doing those Udemy courses or joining networks or whatever it is, that financial reward will come back to you. Remember your goals, get back to work. So once we finish this, go ask yourself your goals and get back to work. I've also, free of charge, because it's free, I wrote a thing called Sales Buddy. Everybody here is welcome to get it. It's a Chrome plugin. And what it does is every day it gives you a new tip. And I think there's about 70 sales tips in this Sales Buddy. And every time you open your Chrome, you can see on the top right-hand corner, a little bubble will pop up and it'll explain. For example, there it's explaining the 5-second rule. So that everybody who's using Chrome browser, just go to the Chrome store, look up Sales Buddy, or you can click this link in the presentation. And that's my presentation on the PowerPoint side. What I thought we could do, so we're half an hour through, is just brainstorm ideas. So, or brainstorm problems. I know it might be difficult to share secrets with people on this group, but if you've got any questions about sales, let's do it now. Let's talk about it. Right. So, Stan, do you want to ask any questions in the meantime? It's gone quiet. Nobody's got questions.
So, David, I have a question. Is it important to, I'm sure you said it's important to practice your script. How important is it for your whole team to practice the same script? Or should everyone practice a different script, or how does it work?
All right. So if you, let's assume you've been doing this for years and years, or I've been doing this for years and years and years, and I have a script that works. I would then give that script to my team, and we would practice. Let's imagine it's a new employee. We would probably spend the first day or two just practicing that script, objections, countermeasures. And then when it came to time to calling, they're not allowed to look at the script. So they got to talk to you as if they've been doing this 100 years. And it's quite easy to do. Keep that script short. So the script is quite simple. Hi, my name is David. I'm calling from this. The reason I'm calling you is about this. I notice you have that, and mine will do this for you. Have you got a minute to talk? I don't even say a minute. I say, have you got a moment to talk to me? And if they say no, I go, would you mind if I send you an email? And when's a good time to call you back? Or do you want to talk now? It'll only take 2 minutes. And so sometimes, you know, most people are just trying to get you off the phone. How would you do it? What do you think of that, what I've just said?
I think that's excellent. So how I go about it, I say, hi, my name is Taylor. But before I even start, I always ask the question, hi, is this David? Or hi, is this John? I found that it opens up the conversation much more and gets them, oh, yeah, that is me. So you get a yes there. And then, yeah, pretty much do what you said. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know what other businesses are in. Let me see if there's anybody I know in here. Ilana, I don't know what your business is. Philip, I think we have met before.
I don't recall, but I was thinking to myself now while I was listening to you, David. Pardon me. you're saying you're talking about your script now, and I'm thinking, isn't it more, what's the word, personalized? Because what you written for yourself may not work for John or Sandy, because you're one individual with a personality, and they're individuals with their own personalities, and doesn't that have to be adapted or adjusted or something to reflect who they really are?
So 100% right. I feel like you've got 5 seconds to get the person's attention. So Philip, can I ask, what's your business?
I'm in food.
Are you selling to end users or to restaurants?
I'm in transition at the moment.
Okay, let's use the old business that you had.
I was in manufacturing.
And you would sell to restaurants?
Well, I wasn't. I was more contracting to other people to doing the manufacturing. I was like line management and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So the food business is a very interesting one, because there's a lot of variables. But if in your game, if you were, say, subcontracting, then what you're actually selling is, I'm a subcontract or whatever. So you might say, I'm a line chef. I've worked for XXX. I'm phoning you to see if there's opportunity to work with you in the future. And so that person, so the person, you're not trying to sell them the food, you're not trying to sell them the flavors, you're actually trying to sell them a service, if I understand that correctly. And if it's Philip making the call, Philip knows everything about food. But let's imagine you had somebody junior, and I don't want to say they've never cooked anything in their life, but let's imagine you've got somebody, then you might need to help them with the script. But you've got to, for what people tend to forget, like even if you're a dentist, you're in sales. Right. And so the dentist subconsciously knows the answers to all these questions. But if you've got salespeople trying to sell teeth cleaning, you don't want them getting into the technical stuff. So again, you've got to let that person write their own script, but you've still got to look at it and go, no, you're missing the point. We're not selling teeth whitening. We're selling beauty. We're selling attractiveness. So yes, you're right. I guess I'm saying it a long way is yes. You got to get your personality to write that script.
Thank you.
Cool. Come on, Ilana, ask a question.
And I suppose it's also important that you put it in your own words. So, whatever flows naturally to you, you put the script into that type of flow, and it'll sort of be easier to remember. Or
yeah, you could use the word, like in my business, somebody says we sell live chat agents, but somebody might have struggled with the word agent. So we just say staff or operator, whatever feels more comfortable out of your tongue. That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, there are no more questions.
Yes, hi, David. Thank you. Sorry I missed the beginning. I just wanted to ask you if, say you sent through a proposal and then they haven't replied to that. They said that, they were going to check. I work with family-run businesses, family-owned businesses. She said, I'm going to check with my dad, because she approached me to run sort of a team build. And then I followed up with an email to see where she was at. If you still get nothing, what do you do? I don't want to, what do they say? Needy is creepy. I don't want to chase people.
Okay, so the common understanding, look, nothing beats the phone call. So, okay, so it sounds like you are a events company that does what kind of events?
No, it's not events. I help optimize strengths within the team and manage weaknesses. So business owners can scale their businesses by having the right people in the right positions.
All right. And
so I create flow in the team, flow and alignment. And so she wanted a team workshop, and I sent her the proposal. sent a follow-up email. I haven't got her email because she contacted me, her phone number. So she contacted me through LinkedIn because I ran a workshop via another company, and then she reached out to me. I sent the proposal. I then followed up with an email, and I just feel like I would be stalking if I then, used her phone number and she hasn't actually given it to me.
Okay, so there's many ways to do this. The first one is you got to, within reason, stalk until they give you a no. So you can say something like, hey, I'm just going through my books. I see I sent you a proposal. I just want to see if we can go ahead on this, or if it's a no and I, blah, blah, can reset. That's one way. So you can say it in a very nice way. Another option is if you've got a team of people, you can have somebody else call and go, hi, it's David, I'm phoning. Tracy's asked me to give you a call, or whoever it is asked me to give you a call. I think your name's Claire. Claire's asked me to give you a call to see if there's any questions we need answered. The other option is, I think a lot of companies do this, is follow up with hey, it's August. If you sign up within August, we can add 5 hours or 3 hours, so with something. So I don't know if some people don't like discounts, but so there's 3 or 4 methods there already that can do it. But I chase until I get a no. That's the hard, horrible work of sales. I think Taylor's in sales, so maybe Taylor can answer that question as well.
Sorry, what was the question?
The question was, when you sent out a proposal or a quote and you haven't heard anything back, how often or how long does it take before you phone them and chase them? And when do you give up?
The best option would be to call the next day and say, hi, have you received my email? Just checking to see if you received it. And they might get irritated, or they might be very impressed by your follow-up skills. But it's good to sort of make an impression anyway. So the next day, have you received my email? And then give it a week. And
when do you give up?
I don't never give up until I get a no. So I give it a bigger time lapses between when I get hold of them. Obviously, if it's ignore, then I'll give it a month or 2. And often I've had, when I go back 2-3 months later, they're keen.
Yeah, sometimes people just need more time.
Yeah,
sometimes people just need more time. But that goes back to Claire.
Super. Yeah, what I took from that is, until you get a no, and then I like the sort of a month or 2 later following up. And then I think what you mentioned is like, sending an email with a promotion, like a newsletter, the monthly promotions kind of thing. Okay. Thank you.
This is, if you've got the time and energy, and I don't do this as often as I should, but you can also host a webinar. And so what I mean by that is, you could have people that you're trying to, let's call it befriend. You go, let's imagine you sent this proposal to Tracy. You can then say, phone her for something completely different. Tracy, I'm hosting a webinar. It's an hour long, and I'd love you to attend. And now you can, you're building. I remember I told you about this. People don't just buy on the first time. You really have to build relationships. And so you're offering them for free to educate them in this space. And it might be, how do you get rid of rotten apples, bad employees, or whatever it is? And then your webinar can be on KPIs and CCMA and courts, I don't know, whatever you want. But it's a problem for them, because in order to have done their proposal, you've probably got an insight in their business. So find what's their trigger. And, even if they don't attend the webinar, you've still got a reason to give them a call. And then, I don't know if you heard the part, but one of mine, and is, for research purposes, what has prevented you from accepting our proposal? And then they go, oh, it's too expensive, or, oh, we don't have the time. And remember, if you were there, about more important than the opening script, as far as I'm concerned, are the objections and countermeasures. So no, we just don't have the time. I understand. If we broke it up into hour-long snippets once a day rather than a whole day session, or I can't remember the other one, but it's too expensive. And let's imagine your fee is 50,000 Rand. Then you can go, okay, my fee is 50,000. What is the lacking of profits worth to you? You know, and so then let's get people to understand, oh, 50,000 now is much cheaper than losing hundreds of thousands through bad employees or unmotivated staff. So objections to me are more important in that opening script. The opening script is just to get their attention.
That's super. Thank you. I know Sam Mitchell that I was working with. He was we're doing one-to-one coaching, and he also said about a webinar, and I forgot about that. You're right. So you're the second person that said it. So thank you so much. It's been very, very helpful.
Right. Claire, do you work alone?
I'm now just bringing in a tech team guy, a second tech team guy, but really it is me alone. So my capacity, when I met with Org, they said I've got a capacity issue. So I'm still kind of battling a bit with that.
So yeah, virtual assistants from the Philippines, from South Africa, it doesn't matter, where it might cost you 2,000 Rand a month. And you do so if you're going to do a webinar, you decide the topic, you decide the date, you decide the time, and then you hand it over to a virtual assistant who can put it on LinkedIn. And again, I have to say this, sometimes, like this webinar, I think there's 10 people, 15 people here. That's great. If you've invited 1,000 people and only 10 show up, I'm sorry, that's great, but you've also created branding. Oh, Claire does webinars. She must be a thought leader. She's an expert. So, yeah, I've done webinars. I have picked up business from it. It also helps me focus my thoughts. So, yeah, if you've got a budget, Claire, if you want to talk afterwards, I'll tell you about virtual assistants. You should have my contact details in, but if you want to talk afterwards and you've got a budget, I think I can help you out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. This has been so super. Thank you very much.
Cool. All right, cool.